The other thing we talk about is being intentional. How important is it for a young professional in this industry to be more intentional, and what does that mean?
Yeah, so you hear that word intentionality a lot in business and entrepreneurship and relationships. And I am convinced and continue to be convinced throughout my life and the interactions that I have, the events that I attend, that the most intentional guy or girl in the room wins, period, end of story. And what I mean by that is intentional in the way that you show up, intentional in the way that you dress, intentional with the way that you introduce yourself, intentional with the way that you introduce other people, and intentional with the questions that you ask, intentional with the follow-up questions that you ask, intentional with the follow-up text message to the person that says, hey, so great to have met you this evening. It's like that level of intentionality, your level of intention in finding ways to collaborate and work closely with other people, even that have nothing in common with you or nothing to do with what you do. Like, you've got to find ways to just build your ecosystem big and build it deep. And so I think intentionality really starts at, is it actually important to you? Like, from a self-awareness standpoint, you have to ask yourself, is this important enough to me? Are relationships and the quality of my relationships important enough to me to be intentional? And then on the second side of that, on the branding aspect of like my personal and professional brand, do I want to be marked by a level of intentionality in the relationships that I build? Like, is that actually important to me?
Right.
And if it's not, then there's probably going to be some other questions that we dive into. But most people will say, yeah, it's like important to me that I'm known as somebody that's intentional with my relationships, intentional, and I think that should mark the life of an entrepreneur, is intentionality in everything that you do. Like, I heard a podcast the other day that of Mel Robbins. She was sharing an example of Terry Crews, who's known all over the nation, and he was in the NFL for a short period of time, and then he got kicked out, I believe, of the NFL because of work ethic and just attitude and certain things, and then he was like sweeping floors, like totally true story. And he had this recognition of, if I was getting paid $1 million to do this, like, how well would I do it? And if the answer is that could apply to anything in life. Like, if I was getting paid $1 million to go and attend this networking event, how well would I do it? How intentional would I be? And if your answer would change and your action would change based on that, then you just admitted that you could do better and that you could level up, and that there's areas of mediocrity in your life.
Yeah, true.
And that's intentionality.
It is. And let me give you your kudos, because I think the first time we met, it was a couple years ago or whatever, and about a week later, I go to my mailbox, and there's a card from you, how just saying, hey, it was cool meeting you, great contacting you. Like, that's old school stuff. I know when I mentioned it to my wife, and she goes, that's how they used to do it. Back in the day, you'd send a thank you card because emails and stuff didn't exist. But you being intentional on reaching out and doing that extra, it's that extra piece that I think you did that was blown me away. And the fact that I would have never thought about doing something like that. So I've taken on some of that. I haven't gone to the writing the cards thing, but that's next.